move on now.
अजय सर,
प्रोफेसर यशु दुबे मैम, गुरुराम सर, नमस्कार सर, प्रणाम।
नमस्ते नमस्ते, कैसे हो आप?
फाइन सर, थैंक यू सो मच, वेलकम सर।
यस यस, ओके ओके।
प्रोफेसर यशु दुबे मैम,
Yes, sir.
प्लीज स्टार्ट प्रोग्राम।
Oh, okay.
थैंक यू।
Yes, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Learning and leadership are indispensable to each other. Learning is the most beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. Everything else is just an information. While if I talk about learning, that is experience. Again, a very good evening, all the dignitaries, learned academicians who have joined this program across globe, and my dear colleagues. I, Ashri Dubey, co-chapter head, research co-chapter. And to deliver the speech on this particular topic, we have Dr. Meera Asmi, management consultant, all the way from Kerala. I would like to welcome Dr. Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman RFI, Dr. Ashok Gupta, Vice President RFI, Professor Ajay Jain, Central Board President RFI. The 7-day online training development program on Dimensions of Wellness is organized by Sri K.G. Mittal College of Arts and Commerce, Research Foundation of India, JHERP, in association with World Virtual Conference Forum, Symbiosis University of Applied Sciences, Sri Jain Devakar College, St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Vishisht School of Management, Indore, and it is sponsored by different forums like World Federation of Science and Technology, International Research Guide Federation, Academic Research Guide Association, AAFT Consulting Consulting Raipur, Edu Academics, Urja Consulting Training Indore, SBPA SS Indore. So yes, all these are eminent associates person who have contributed a lot in coming up with this wonderful program, 7-day training development program on Dimensions of Wellness. I once again welcome you all. Now let me take. Now I would like to request Dr. Ashok Gupta, Vice President RFI, to please share his words with us.
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. This is Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta. Nowadays I am in Delhi. We can safeguarding our health by observing 2 गज की दूरी, mask जरूरी, following social distancing norms and ensuring to wear mask will help us defeat coronavirus, because coronavirus is still in force. जब तक वैक्सीन नहीं तब तक ये सब चीजें जरूरी है. I urge you to follow these guidelines and I pray for your good health. Stay healthy and stay happy, as it is also said by our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. I feel honored to be invited to this 7 days training program on dimensions of wellness. This program is being conducted from 6th February to 12th February. This program is organized by Srimati K.G. Mittal College of Arts and Commerce, Research Foundation of India, and JHERF. This program is in association with World Virtual Conference Forum, Symbiosis University of Applied Sciences Indore, St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies Indore, Vishisht School of Management Indore, School of Computer Sciences IPS Academy Indore, Jain Divakar Mahavidyalaya Indore. This program is sponsored by World Federation of Science and Technology, International Research Guide Federation, Academic Research Guide Association, Edu Academy, Urja Counseling and Training Indore, Sundarbai Phulchandji Adarsh Shiksha Sansthan SBEASS Indore. There are various wellness topics has been covered till now. Those are physical wellness, intellectual wellness, environmental wellness, occupational wellness. Today is 5th day, and today we are going to discuss regarding social wellness. The expert is well-known Dr. Meera Azmi. She is management consultant, CMD, Government of Kerala. Now, what is social wellness? It is about nurturing ourselves, others, and our relationships. It consists of not only balancing our own physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, but also activity participating as an interdependent place of the bigger puzzle of humankind. Social wellness is so important that people who have healthy relationships and a strong social network tend to live longer and respond better to stress. This reduction is in stress and anxiety results in a healthier endocrine system, healthier cardiovascular functioning, and an enhanced immune system. Some good examples of social health are engaging with people in our community, treating others with respect, maintaining and building a strong relationship with friends, creating healthy boundaries and help with communication, trust and conflict management. कहा भी गया है कि अगर दिल खोला होता दिलदार से तो खुलवाना ना पड़ता फिर औजार से. So with this motive, we are going to take this social Dr. Meera Azmi. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Seema Agrawal and Professor Yashashri Dubey, who are coordinator, the convener, Dr. Urvashi Patwari ma'am, organizing secretary, Dr. Priyanka Chawla, technical and office support, Priyanshi Dubey, Yogaraj Panchale, and thanks to Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman, and Professor Ajay Jain, President, Central India Board. A special thanks to core team and women cell of RFI also. Thanks to all of you, RFI members, along with participants and available dignitaries. Thank you, all of you, once again. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ashok ji. Thank you so much, Ajay ji, for giving me this opportunity to be with you, to talk to you about wellness and especially about social wellness. So, a few days we have been, yeah. Am I audible? Yeah.
Ma'am, if you could please allow me to, read your profile first.
Yeah, please, sure.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Ashok Gupta, for sharing your words. And now, with utmost joy and pleasure, I would like to read out the esteemed profile of our today's expert, Dr. Meera Azmi, Management Consultant, Government of Kerala. She's dedicated social innovator, working for women empowerment, child development, aged care and nature conservation in and out Kerala. Empowerment of women is enhanced by creating self-help groups of women who emerged as a successful and influenced entrepreneur for sustainable living, which paves the way for economic and social development. She's a global ambassador for We Grow Forest Foundation, a non-profit organization working for urban forestry and reforestation in India. Being the brand ambassador, she takes the responsibility of the organization and the ideas and aims of the organization into wider population, helping the continuous growth of the organization in a wider spectrum. She's a postgraduate in management and specialization in human resource management, and have more than 19 years of work experience, and presently working as project consultant to Government of Center of Management Development and undertaking resources and consultancy for policy implementation and sustainable development goals in all states and union territories of India. Ma'am, even this detailed reading of you could not suffice your great achievements. So again, I will like to welcome you to this program, and definitely it is a pleasure and privilege for all of us to get a chance to hear you today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I
Uh, one
yeah, to please share.
one thing about Dr. Virasmi. Dr. Virasmi, President Kerala State of Research Foundation of India.
Yeah,
Welcome, ma'am.
welcome, ma'am. Now, please, if you could share your words and experience with all of us.
Thank you so much, Yashri. And thank you so much, Ajay sir, for giving me this opportunity to be part of this wellness training program. It's been always been a pleasure to be working associated with Research Foundation of India. So thank you so much for that. Last few days, we have been listening to about wellness. So, quick refresh, what exactly we mean by wellness. So, when we talk about wellness, it is actually the interactive process of becoming aware of and practicing healthy choices to create more and more successful and balanced life. So what we require is to have a balanced life. So if you feel that you are well, you should first understand how to become well. So that is about the wellness thing. So straight away we'll start with the social wellness, because we had some interesting sections on the other aspects like the physical and psychological, intellectual, environmental and spiritual are also being taken care of. So these are being the components of wellness. So we'll start with the presentation. Can we have the slide, please? Okay. So before going to wellness, I'd like to start with what is actually being the characteristics of a wellness lifestyle. So why is it important that wellness is important in our life? So basically, what you need in your life is not just the physical fitness or the positive outlook, but you need to discover the meaning and purpose of being alive. So you need to have a strong personal responsibility. So what is more important is like how well you fit into your social network. So social wellness is nothing but the ability to build a personal connection with others, deal with the conflict, and be a part of a positive social network. Because networking is very important, and that is how you rediscover yourself, the purpose and meaning of your life. Next slide, please. So, social wellness is actually you are actually trying to develop the ability to meet new people, interact with them. There may be people who you know actually, and there may be people who you don't know well. But how well you interact with the society, with the people around you, and that is about the social wellness. So, what are the signs of a social wellness? You need to have a supporting network of family and friends, because we being a human, we are actually part of the like the environment in which networking is very important, and we need to have a collaborative association with our family, with our friends. We actually need to create boundaries within the relationship, because we need to encourage communication. Trust is a main factor, and how you deal with the conflict. Because like wherever there is relationship, conflicts are also there. So you need to create clear boundaries within the relationship, so that there is an element of trust, there is an element of communication, transparency, and there is room for conflict management. So value diversity and how you treat others with respect is very important, because when you are in a society, when you are part of a society, what is more important is how you are going to treat others, because give respect and earn respect. So that is very important. How you create the value diversity is very important. You need to develop the assertive skills in order to maintain harmony in your relationship, and there should be balancing of the social and personal time, because at the end of the day you have to find time for yourself, for your own wellness, because apart from other wellness or other activities including the social wellness, what is more important is how you maintain yourself. So there should be a balancing of your social time as well as a personal time. So you should be able to fit yourself in all situations. It is not always necessary that we'll always end up in a very conducive situation or very positive situation all the time. So there will be times when you'll have to find yourself being in midst of so many other situations. So you should generate the ability to maintain yourself, compose yourself to fit into all situations. And what is more important is that you should be able to maintain and develop friendships and social networks, because that is the essence of making yourself alive in the environment. Next slide, please. So in whatever science we discussed right now, appropriate communication is very important, because what exactly is communication? It is nothing but how you convey your thoughts and ideas, and how you are going to make that piece of information reach your receivers. So that is what is communication all about. So you actually require to have a very appropriate communication, so that you have to convey your thoughts, your ideas, your needs and wants to others in a professional as well as in a personal life. So appropriate communication is a must. So actually a clear communication will actually help to manage your time and your life, because appropriate communication is in fact very, very important. Next slide, please. So healthy relationships. So we being an individual, we have different roles to perform in our life. We'll be working somewhere, we'll be employed somewhere, we might be someone's employer, we might have friendship, we have family, we might have a romantic relationship, whatever it is. These are actually any kind of relationship that is healthy is actually essential for your overall wellness. So what is important is that how you maintain it, how you actually maintain the relationship is actually important. It is actually important to maintain clear communication, which is crucial for a healthy and productive relationships. Okay, so that is about the healthy relationships. Next slide, please. So we all know that stress is actually a part of life. So stress management is something which we have to learn, because stress need not be always be a negative, that is, it need not be always be a distress. It can be positive, it can be a eustress as well. So how you're going to cope up with all kind of stressors is important, because you have to like when you are going to meet someone after a long period of time, you might develop some kind of a positive, you feel that you are developing some kind of a positive stress, that is what you call as a eustress. And when you are confronted with some negative situations in life, then that is where you actually you actually know what is a distress. So it can be positive or negative, but it is part of life, you cannot avoid it. So you have to adapt, and you have to have a clear-cut response to the stressors because it is only up to you to find a different way that will actually suit to work for you. So however you are going to like how you're going to cope up with this stress is completely dependent on you. So you have to adapt, and you have to find out responses in such a way that you actually need to find out which is the best suitable way that is going to work for you. So stress management is very important. Next slide, please. Okay. So more important, when we are in a social network, we are into a lot of relationship. You are part of family, you are part of friend circle, you are employed somewhere, or you're part of a business house. So you have multiple roles to perform in your life on a daily basis. So that is not completely devoid from any kind of a conflict as well. So conflict is there, you'll have to find yourself in situations where you'll have to actually manage these conflicts to be resolved in a healthy and constructive way. So if you are starting conflict with someone, you actually need to have some kind of a resolution strategies that will actually help you to overcome that situation. So find out your resolution strategies, how you can cope up with that. That is very important. So conflict management is very important for your social wellness. Next slide, please. Collaborate. So you need to collaborate with like your fellow beings. You have to put your input, and you have to wait for the solution, so that you ensure that you are achieving the main goal. So how well you can collaborate with the rest of the world is completely up to you, and you will have to find out your ways in which you can actually collaborate in achieving your goals. So that will add up to your social wellness as well. Next slide, please. Compromising. So when you are a part of a social network, it is always important that you should have room for compromising. So how do you compromise? What is compromising all about? You have to be actually willing to bend on some ideas, some areas, because like you are actually trying to accomplish a larger goal. So in order to make room for others ideas also, what is more important is that you might have to you might be willing to bend in some areas, so that that compromising is actually going to be a major factor which will help you to accomplish a larger goal. So you cannot be a diamond all the time. You have to be compromising at times if required. If required is very important. So that will also add up to your social wellness. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So we are just going to put some questions across to you, across to the audience. So we have to ask this question to ourselves every time, in order to understand whether we are in a socially well set up. Are we socially well? So in order to understand where we stand, we need to understand these questions, and we have to ask ourselves where we actually fit in. So do you receive your social support from friends? Do you have a very positive friend circle around you? Are they supporting you in social circumstances? Do you actually enjoy the time you spend with others? Is it that like you are compelled to fit in somewhere, or actually whether you are actually enjoying the time you're spending with others? And you have to ask the question whether your relationships are of good quality or of high quality. Do you explore diversity by interacting with people or other culture backgrounds and beliefs? Because we actually live in a world where the groups are heterogeneous. We have multiple heterogeneous groups working, seeing around us in our social networks, in our professional networks. We see all this diversity. So how well you fit in interacting with these people from other cultural background and other beliefs? Do you actually fit in there? Are you really interested in making new friends? That is actually having a positive outlook. So whether you would love to interact with more people, would you like to make new friends? Do you prefer not to be alone most of the time? Would you prefer to be part of the the social network? Would you prefer to be active all around with your family and friends around? So do you actually prefer not to be alone most of the time? Is important. To seek interdependent relationship with others. Like it is any kind of relationship is actually mutual. It is like give and take. You give like some quality inputs to others, and you gain something back in return. So it is interdependent relationship. So there is room, or there should be always room for mutual respect and cooperation. I mean, the individuals within your community, within your social circle. So do you really have room for that? Do you actually develop the capacity for intimacy? Do you have friends outside the family? If you think that you have answered no to any of these questions, that is one kind of an area where you have to actually, like look into your physical as well as your social wellness. So this is really important. Next slide, please. So actually, social wellness, as we discussed earlier, it is actually a balancing and integration of the interaction between the individual, the society, and the nature. So nature is also very important because the environment in which we are surviving is actually important. So that actually creates a balance and integrate our interaction with the rest of the world, with the society in general. So we'll have to live in harmony with others, which is more important. So for that, like there should be effective communication and healthy relationship with others, including all your physical needs, including the sexual behavior, everything has to be taken care of, and there should be effective communication in this regard. So the amount of support you receive and you reciprocate, and the value attached to the functions of giving and receiving the support is also very important. So you need to have fulfilling relationship and intimate relationship, including your sexual relations, that has to be fulfilling. That word is important. How well you maintain a relationship in the most fulfilling manner, the most intimate manner, is also very important, which will actually add up to your social wellness. Next slide, please. So it is about your responsibility to what you are going to give back to the community. Because being a part of the social circle, you are actually you have the responsibility to give back to the community. So it is like, you should develop an attitude towards relationship. You should help others. You should seek help from others. All these are very important. So pure acceptance, altruism, attachments or bonds with others, social skills, which include the communication, assertiveness, conflict resolution, all these will pave way to social wellness. So the quality and the extent of the interaction you have with others, and the interdependence between the individual, others in the community, and the nature is very important. So we need to understand one thing, is that it is not just the individuals and the community, but nature plays a very important role in ensuring the social wellness of each and every individual. So about that, we'll discuss about the role of nature in detail. Though you have another section on environmental wellness, I would like to connect the social wellness to how it is, how you can cherish it from the nature. That we'll discuss later. The skills and comfort level that one is able to express in the context of interpersonal interactions, which includes the motivation, action, intent, perception of all these interactions, is very important, because all these skills actually add up to your, add up to your comfort level. So being an individual, you have so many responsibilities. So we'll just consider, what you understand, the father responsibility. So that, like in a family, it is in a country like India, it is the father who gets recognized and attend to the needs of the wives and children. So it includes attention to their emotional needs, households, childcare tasks, power and fairness within the couple relationship. So why we have put up as father responsibility? So in an individual concept, you have to take up that responsibility. You have to understand how it is going to be a father figure. This is not just for men. It is on a general note. It is about the responsibility. Okay, how a father recognizes and attends to the needs of the rest of the people in the home. Like that, we have to imbibe that responsibility into on an individual basis, and we have to dedicate our attention to the emotional needs of the people around us, be it your employees, be it your employer, be it your friends, be it your other relatives. So that is the essence of imbibing the father responsibility. Next slide, please. So the gender norms. So we actually attribute certain kind of behaviors and attributes based on the gender norms. So this is based on the cultural practices, shared understandings. So all this actually add to the love and intimacy. So like that, like we refer to the gender norms in a general social environment. As part of social wellness, we actually need to understand that like there are actually specific behaviors and attributes that are expected from a male or female. So if you actually can stick on to it, it will actually add up your social welfare. These are certain norms that are being prevailing in the society for a long period of time, maybe from the framework of cultural practices or shared understandings or values that has been created over a period of time. But it is always important that we actually stick on to those gentle norms that will actually add up to a social wellness. Next slide, please. Attunement. It is actually the desire to understand and respond to the partner's needs and interests. So this is actually very important when it comes to marriage. Marriage is actually for mature people. Next slide, please. So it is actually, when you talk about attunement, it is actually how you are going to maintain the stability and happiness of the partners. So for that, you need to identify your partner's needs and desires. At the same time, you need to understand that the emotional development of every partner. See, partner need not be your spouse alone. It can be anyone. Like when you are in the work environment, the people in your team. So that can be considered as a partner at that point of time. When you are in family, maybe a couple, or when you are just single, like other friends who you are very close to. So all these, if you consider them as a partner, you need to understand how it is going to how you are going to emotionally develop that attribute with them. So their needs are different, your needs are different, but it can be verbalized. So communicate properly, talk to them, try to understand their needs and their desires, and make them aware that okay, they have to express it, because any kind of emotion which is being not expressed or which is being held on, that will actually lead to problems at a later stage of time. So these there could be like real needs, and there could be like imaginary needs. So you have to be actually emotionally mature enough to understand that, where if you need to assess the other person, whatever my capacity he is, if he's your friend, he's your a teammate, or he's a spouse, whoever he may be, you should understand that you should not let an immature partner exploit you. So for that, because you cannot always, you can never satisfy an immature partner's kind of imaginary needs. So that cannot be fulfilled. So stick on to realistic needs, stick on to what is real. So because you need to understand, see, why this kind of imaginary needs happen is only because is that they tend to look it through the social context lenses, how it is happening in the neighborhood. So why not in our home? So these are some kind of traits that this immature people will actually show, and this is where you need to be very careful, because you need to actually help them to grow. So that will by helping them to grow, actually you are actually increasing your that wellness in your social circle. So that is very important. So the understanding the meaning of attunement, how you can actually stick together, how you can work together for a stable and happy life is very important, depending upon how well you understand your partner, or or your team member, or your spouse, or whoever it is. And if they are immature, help them to grow, help them to understand that they need to stick on to the realistic things, and they cannot have everything look through the social context lens and have it on their own. That is not possible. So let's be realistic. So being realistic is very important for the social wellness. Next slide, please. So as we said, marriage is for grown-up people. So they have to be. So why this is being given more importance is that because if everything goes well within the family, that gets reflected in the in your neighborhoods or in your other socials, networks. If you are happy in your family, you'll have actually a positive outlook towards your job, towards your other friend circle. This is like it has a multiplying effect on them. So you have to actually encourage your partners to express their real needs, because like that is very important, especially in a married life. The chances for low marital satisfaction happens only because like the partners fail to express their real needs. It is not, like you cannot actually look from the point of view of what do you call that, social contrast lens. It is not possible. And what happens in the neighborhood is not important. Your family is different, your social circumstance is different, so how realistic you can be. So for that, in order to overcome any kind of what do you call it, distraction in your family life or in your like personal life, what you need is to encourage your partner to open up and make them realize that they have to be very realistic. So when you talk about marriage, it is actually about the emotional support, the intimacy, the shared values, and the beliefs. Because trust is a very important element. Once trust is broken, everything is broken. So like the level of the emotional support you give to your partner, and what you please can we go back to the previous slide, please? Previous slide, yeah. When you actually stick on to their to the emotional support and the intimacy, that is very important. So that will actually help in evaluating your relationship with them, and that will actually help in your overall marriage. So you need to describe, you need to encourage them to express their needs, their expectations, their desire, so that they can stay, you can stay happy in your married life. So it is marital satisfaction, it can be correlated to marital happiness, because partners are talking about how happy or satisfied they are. So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you feel satisfied with your life, that is important, because that gets multiplied in other relationships as well. If you're happy in your married life, or if you're happy in your family, that gets reflected in your social life, that gets reflected in your professional life. So it is actually a multiplication of the wellness. So that is very important. So attunement and maintaining harmony in your marriage is very important aspect for social wellness. Next slide, please. So it is about the shared relational responsibilities. So like in any kind of relationship, be it your team members, be it your spouse, be it other relationships you are into, you have to be deeply attentive. Like you should understand that there is an element of shared relational responsibility. We talked about the gender norms. So how that helps? Because if we actually stick on to the gender norms that is prevailing in the society, it actually reduces a lot of tension, because you actually know what is being expected from you, being on on which gender you fall into, and that will actually help you in maintaining a harmony in your relationship, and that will help you in having a shared relationship responsibility as well. That will add up to your social wellness. Next slide, please. So more about the shared relationship, relational responsibility. So it is actually important that being a couple, you have to understand what is important for both of you. So in order to accomplish satisfaction in a relationship, you need to understand that it can be attained only if your partner also accomplishes in the same level. It is not that you are actually heading forward, you're actually heading ahead, and your partner is striving. No, that will not happen. You should actually take your partner along with you, so as to accomplish the shared responsibility that will add up to your satisfaction in the relationship. So in a relationship, be it a spouse relationship, be it a professional relationship, be it a friendship, a win-win approach is important, because that actually intentionally works for the relationship. So it is like you have to try more, like whoever has to try more will have to push a little more, and like it has to be balanced. So how you fit into the role is depending on the win-win approach you take in that particular relationship. That will add up to your social wellness. Next slide, please. So, in a relationship, when especially in a marriage relationship, what actually burdens most is that, like one person will actually take up everything in his head. So he is actually getting overburdened, and then, like the frustration starts pumping in, and the person becomes depressed, becomes sad, becomes depressing. So that will actually add up to, that will actually reflect in the social life, that will actually reflect in the personal life and professional life as well. So you should not actually burden yourself, and you should not let your partner also be burdened, because that is the reason why you need to have a shared relationship responsibility, so that you can actually balance it. So if you're not making your partner do anything, and so he or she is being challenged, and he's not you are not permitting them to do anything, but you are actually making them accountable for all the ill effects. That is not fair. And at the same time, ignorance is also not an excuse for the selfishness and laziness of the uninvolved partner as well. So there is no room for ignorance. You have to understand what is your role. If you're a friend, what is your role? What is your responsibility? If you are part of a team, what is expected behavior from your part to the team? So there is no room for ignorance. Ignorance is not an excuse for your selfishness or laziness. And at the same time, your partner should also be given a fair opportunity to reframe his or her lifestyle, and like make room for a plan for them as well. So make them engage. Engaging them is very important, be it your personal life, be it your spouse, be it in your professional life. What is more important is that how you can actually make them fit into their roles, and how they can be pulled in to be a part of that particular relationship. How well you can share the relational responsibility. That will actually add up your social wellness, that will get reflected in your personal life, your professional life, your social circle. Everything will be reflecting on this. Next slide, please. So the concept is about we consciousness. That is like how, okay, if we take the example of a spouse, like spouse relationship, how well you portray your we consciousness in front of the public. The face you actually promote in front of the public is very important, because it is very important what kind of image you actually project in the public. Because if you are good enough to project a very positive outlook in the public, that will actually add up to your social life, that will actually enhance your social life, because you will be like like people will actually consider you as very balanced, you're satisfied, and they will actually respect you. So it is not possible from just a single person's effort. It is a joint effort. So it is about we consciousness. We are together. We are going to put this particular frame of us in front of the rest of the world. That is very important. So we consciousness is actually very important. Next slide, please. So there is something called the social justice model. So here, it is about, you have to evaluate all the problems that interfere with the safety, health, from the perspective of communities. It is about having a like balance between the power, privilege, and oppression. So how well you can maintain a balance between the power, privilege, and other negative aspects, it will actually help in evaluating and overcoming the problems that especially that interfere with the safety and health of families. So what is more important is that when you are part of a family, or when you are part of a social relationship, or like a relationship, what is more important is that the other person or the people involved in that social circumstance, or especially the family, they should feel safe. Safety is an important aspect that has to be there in any kind of a relationship. So there should be harmony between the power and the privilege and other negative factors. So that will actually end up in maintaining a social justice model. You should be socially just. How well you can maintain the social justice in front of the public, inside the family, within your social network. That is important, which will actually add up your social wellness. Next slide, please. So, there are inequalities in relationship, especially in a country like India, where gender stereotypes are there. Men feel that there are a bit superior to women. So here, if that is the norm that is prevailing in the society, especially in a country like India, then why is it that we listen to a lot of domestic violence case from different perspective? So actually, we should understand one thing is that domestic violence is actually a natural insult, natural result of the inequality in the social status between husband and wife and the family system. So this is actually, when you are being a part of family, being a spouse relationship, what is more important is that the individuals are important. You can be a husband and wife, that is definitely there, and you have your own roles and responsibilities to perform as part of that, but at the same time you have to maintain a harmony in your relationship. So for that, primarily you have to be very good friends. In any kind of relationship, what is the underlying factor is that if you have a element of friendship in any kind of relationship, that is where we actually start understanding each other, respecting each other, sharing the responsibilities. Everything comes naturally when you are friends. So even if you are in a married relationship, what is more important is that you have to maintain a very good friendship with your spouse, so that there is actually you understand that being a wife, you can look for your husband's interest. The wife can actually think about how to make things work well for the family. So this is actually individualist and collectivist culture, regardless of the social economic status or the scholastic education you have. It is basically about the culture prevailing in the land. So what is more important is that if you maintain if there is a development in the psychological aspect as well as the social aspect, you need to inculcate the moral development in each of the individuals right from their childhood days, so that there will not be a room for abusiveness. Abusive relationship, which children often see in their parents, they have the tendency to mimic it, and at a later point of time, this should be curbed in from the beginning itself. So a child should grow up seeing a harmony in the relationship, a harmony in the family. So that will actually add to the moral values in his mind, that will get cultivated, and he will actually start respecting women. So for that, the effort should actually start from the family. So social justice model is something which we actually have to start practicing straight from our family, so that the seeds of mutual respect, mutual responsibility sharing, all these seeds have to be planted in the minds of the younger generation right from their childhood days, so that they imbibe that moral values, and that helps them in becoming a better citizen at a later point of time. So there is absolutely no room for any kind of domestic violence and sexual assault, nothing of that. Every individual is important. Maybe the societal norms prevailing at the moment might give some kind of a superior enhancement to men in general, but actually there is completely both men and women are actually a very important part in the part to play in the society, and they are almost on the same level. Equality is very, very important. So how it can be maintained, that we have to start initiating from right from a family, and that gets actually reflected in the society after a period of time. So this is something which we have to imbibe in as a culture. Next slide, please. So here we have been talking a lot about the wellness, mostly about the social wellness aspects involved. So it is actually what we started off. It is actually about how you create a successful and balanced life. So it is important how to become well before you are actually well. You need to ask yourself, are you well? Are you socially well? Am I emotionally well? Am I physically well? So for that, you should actually know how you have to be well. What is wellness all about? See, the definition is very important. So being healthy doesn't mean that you're completely physically and mentally and socially good. And like it is not merely the absence of any disease. You have to be healthy, from mentally. You have to be healthy physically. You have to be healthy, and socially you have to be well. So that will actually add up to a state of being healthy. So if you feel that you are okay, it doesn't mean that it doesn't always mean that you're okay. So how you can actually make yourself feel okay is very important. So we have been discussing about fixing wellness in life. So we were actually talking about how to maintain harmony in our relationship. So all these factors we are already discussed, but at the same time, what is to be discussed more is that we start off with nature. We said that like individuals and society is important, but at the same time, maintaining a harmony from the nature is also important. So it is important not just to live, but go for a greener life. How do we actually make our life go greener? So for that, the environment plays a major role in that. And what is more important is that in order to maintain a very good physical and mental state of health, what you require is basic needs. That is, you need to have fresh air, you need to have a good environment around you, which will actually help you in getting rid of all the unnecessary chaos in life. And that will actually add up to the overall wellness in your life. So that is very important. So what is the concept all about? So most of us are actually living in urban areas. Actually in a developing country like India, we actually don't have underdeveloped countries. Thanks to the sustainable development goals that is being getting implemented in our country at a very faster pace as compared to the rest of the world. So we are actually in a very good position wherein we are actually giving more importance to the social aspects, and other aspects as well. So how is it that the nature plays an important role? So how can we make our lives go more greener? So how do we do that? So for that, if you take the examples of metropolitan cities or towns, what we see is that we are in midst of a complete jungle. So actually it is suffocating. If you take the examples of the capital city Delhi, people are actually suffocating because they are getting deprived of fresh air. It is polluted. Actually this is actually affecting our wellness. It is actually affecting our health. It is actually affecting our mental health. It is actually reflecting in our social wellness. So how can we prevent this? Because let's see, the concrete jungle has already been created. So now it is not possible to demolish all these buildings and make room for a reforestation. That is not possible. But what is possible is that how to come up with an urban forestry. Urban forestry is important. Is it possible to create urban forestry in a developing country like India? Yes, it is very much possible. Whatever space we have, most of us spend a major part of our time in our in our fields or in the business houses in which we are working. So how green you can make your business, or how green you can make your office premises is very important. We actually need to have green offices, because like the environment and the conduciveness of the environment we create is actually very important, because that is going to add up to our health, our mental health, our physical health, and overall wellness. So that is very important. So go green, that is the motto. So it is actually it is actually being an initiative to save our planet And because we are actually deploying all the resources, all the natural resources we are having, so we are actually not giving enough consideration to our future generations. So this is actually why, how this is going to get connected to wellness. This is actually a concern, we are actually all our resources are getting depleted, and we don't know what is in store for our future generation, how our kids are going to survive in the near future. So that is a real concern. So go green. Business, your workplace, everywhere, go green is very important. So actually there is a international foundation operating in India. There is a Vigro Forest Foundation. It is actually making this happen. How do they work? It is just an example which we all need to understand and recognize and practice in our life. So the concept is very simple. It is about urban forestry, about making your office spaces go green. See, the pandemic has actually given us a very important lesson to be learned by everyone. There is no life, it cannot be static all the time. So whatever be the activities that we were practicing at a point of time before the pandemic, and the life has changed dramatically after the pandemic. We are just recovering from that particular shock. We are actually just coming out from that particular shock. So now what we require is that we need to understand that maintaining health is very important in our social circumstances, in our professional life, in our personal life. So that is the reason why this wellness is actually getting more important. So coming back to the efforts by the international foundation, that is a Vigro Forest Foundation, it is being formed in India only. So what they do is that they go for this urban forestation. So it is about red plus activities. What is red plus activities? That is about minimizing the carbon emission, and at the same time reforestation activities involved, so that carbon sequencing is maintained at minimum level. So that is very important, because what we give back to the society is actually adding up to our social wellness. So if we are having a space, whatever space we can go for vertical gardens inside our apartments. We can go for vertical gardens inside our office premises. So greenery will actually add up to a positive impact in our lives. That is very important, because go green actually reflects on making our life go a bit more green. So that is actually very positive thing, so which we can actually practice in our home, in our business places. They actually encourage trekkers to carry seed bombs with them, so that they can just disperse it wherever they are going. They just get it dispersed, and it automatically grows up. So a bit of effort from each and every one of us individually will actually add up to a greener planet, which will why do we require to have a greener planet? Because it is actually going to add up to our wellness. So these are certain important things. These are certain things which we have to actually start from our home settings itself, from our office premises itself. Because considering the next generation, about what are we going to give back to the society is very important. So for that, a little consideration to the environment is actually going to make a lot of difference. So do it. That actually will actually add up to your mental health, will actually add up to a good physique. Because if you have the green charging zones around you, be it in a school or hospital, or wherever, people always love to get rid of their stress. Just be here, what we have is these plants actually generate a lot of oxygen, actually, which actually helps us in maintaining our brain cells in an active mode. That will actually help in reducing diseases like Alzheimer's and other kind of diseases. So the benefits of wellness, to sum up, is that start living with a stronger heart, body and mind. Go for less stress. You'll be able to deal with stressful situations if you are healthy, both mentally and as well as physically. This will actually add up to your increased life expectancy and better quality of life. No cholesterol, lower cholesterol. You have more positive self-esteem, and it will become your life much more easier to meet and socialize new people. So a certain behavioral aspects that will actually promote wellness is that you can be a smart person, like start enjoying your life, have fun, take time for yourself to play, relax, learn to control your anger and aggression, say no to alcohol, drugs and tobacco. Be in a positive environment, surrounded by good people, good social life, good role models is very important. So all these will add up to your wellness. So as I said, it is important to know how to become well before you are actually well. So that's it for the presentation for now. Thank you so much for your patient listening. I think it was, really, this was actually a good effort from my side to talk about on social wellness. So now I think we'll go for a brief discussion on this. If I would like to interact with the audience as well. Thank you so much. I think everybody is muted. If we have any points to be discussed in this regard, we can discuss. Any questions from the audience side?
No, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Meera ma'am. Thank you so much. And I invite Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta sir for summarizing the session. Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta sir. Sir.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Regarding social wellness, today's expert Dr. Meera Azmi emphasized that importance of social wellness. She has given some good example of social health, such as engaging with people in our community, treating others with respect, maintaining and building strong relationships with friends, creating healthy boundaries that help with communication, trust, and conflict management. As per her, it is one aspect of the total health equation, which is now receiving greater emphasis from the medical community. Also, as per research, following facts have been shown that the health risks of isolation are comparable with smoking, high blood pressure, and obesity. The heart and blood pressure of people who have positive relationships respond better to stress. A strong social network is associated with a healthier endocrine system and healthier cardiovascular functioning. A healthy social life can enhance the immune system's ability to fight off infections, diseases. She has explained the strategies for improving social health. Uh, Mainly, we should make connections. Since social interactions have been found to enhance well-being, it is helpful to work on making meaningful connections with our friends, family, our partner, or others in our life. She has also told that build healthy relationships. Once we have made the connections, we will need to nurture those relationships over time. Strong bonds are an essential component of total well-being. Even though building bonds takes work, a social support network has considerable benefits. These positive relationships are what help make the good times better and the tough times easier. Also, she explained, get active together. After developing relationships, we can make the most of them by getting active together. For example, we and our friends could go for a walk as a group or make a healthy meal to eat. By becoming more active, we will improve both our physical and mental health. One of the biggest benefits of having good social wellness is the presence of a social support network. The network can be close friends and family members to turn to when we are in need or in a crisis situation. Our support team can offer assistance, perspective, and insight to a situation that may cause due to unforeseen situation as we have seen in a pandemic period. Thanks a lot, ma'am. We would like again to have your expert session, Dr. Meera Azmi. Thanks for your valuable session and your time given to RFI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Ashok Gupta. We always enjoy and get motivated after hearing you. And definitely, the way you summarize the session every day is extraordinary. And yes, coming to the expert we had today, Dr. Meera asked me, ma'am, you really explained the topic very, very well. And we will try to implement these small steps in our daily life, and I really feel this would really help me as a person and everyone who attended this seminar. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So are we taking any questions?
No, anyone.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So once again, thank you Ajay ji, thank you Ashok ji, thank you for organizing this. This has been a wonderful section on wellness, and it's been very informative. Thank you so much for having me here. So looking forward to have more sections in this regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll take leave now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.